Good morning, folks. Welcome to Advisory. I hope you guys are all doing well. Before we get into our main topic, which is all about teacher appreciation, I wanted to come on and let you know about something happening tomorrow, Wednesday, May 7th. You see, in addition to Teacher Appreciation Week, this week also happens to be National Youth Violence Prevention Week. And just right off the bat, I want to tell you that tomorrow we are going to wear orange. We're all going to wear orange, not only here on this campus, but across Dallas ISD, the entire district is going to be wearing orange to school tomorrow. The orange represents solidarity with those who have been affected by violence and gun violence in particular, and it will serve as a reminder that it takes all of us to create safer schools and safer communities. And in order to make it real, in order to kind of drive home the real reason that we are doing this, I want to share with you these facts that were given to us by the district from the Sandy Hook Promise group that we have done trainings with before. These are 17 facts about child-related gun violence and school shootings. And of course, this is not a fun topic to talk about, but it's very important to get the information out there because this is a very uniquely American experience. School shootings and gun violence towards children doesn't happen in any other country like it happens here in the US. And so it's important to be in the know. Fact number one, each day 12 children die from gun violence in America and another 32 are shot and injured. That's every day. Number two, guns are the leading cause of death among American children and teens more than anything else, more than cancer, more than drownings, more than accidents. Firearm deaths occur 5 times more often than drownings. Probably the most famous and really first major school shooting in the US happened at Columbine High School in Colorado in 1999. But since then, more than 390,000 students in the US have experienced some form of gun violence in school. The problem has certainly not gotten better. And in 2022, there were more school shootings with 46 than any year since Columbine. You may have remembered that from once we came back to school after COVID, there seemed to be school shootings in the news all the time. And that's because there were more than any other year since 1999. However, the US Department of Homeland Security research shows that if we know the signs of gun violence, we can prevent it and reverse this trend. In 2022, 34 students and adults died while more than 43,000 children were exposed to gunfire at school. So that 43,000 is the amount of students that were in all of those schools total that were exposed to possible gun violence, and some of them died. So what do we do with this information? How do we stop school shootings and prevent other types of violence? Well, guns are really prevalent, and there's lots of reasons for people to have guns. A lot of people have it for self-protection or hunting, but it does matter how you take care of those weapons and what you do with them when they're not being used. It's estimated that 4.6 million American children live in a home where at least one gun is kept loaded and unlocked. A lot of gun violence can be prevented simply by making sure that children do not have access to guns and that those guns are safely locked away. And nearly half of all parents with a weapon in the home wrongly believe that their children don't know where the gun is stored. I thought that was interesting. A lot of parents say, oh, yeah, I've got a gun, but my kid doesn't know where it is. They actually do know where it is because kids are curious and they find things. So secure storage of firearms prevents all sorts of tragedies. In 4 out of 5 school shootings, at least one other person had knowledge of the attacker's plan but failed to report it. So this gets into our plea to all students and all people in the building that are involved in our community. If you see something, or if you hear about something happening, or if you suspect something happening, you got to say something. That's 80% of these shootings. Someone had knowledge of it prior and did not report it. In a comprehensive school shooting study, the Secret Service and Department of Education found that 93% of school shooters planned the attack in advance. And a lot of times these shooters would post things online or say things to friends before the attack that kind of hinted at some sort of violence that they were planning. So when people see the warning signs and get help, we can end school shootings. Almost all mass school shooters shared threatening or concerning messages or images. More than 75% raised concern from others prior to the attacks. Bystanders saw the warning signs in most documented active shooter cases. So after the fact, once people were trying to make sense of why some of these shootings happened, it was found that a lot of people actually did see a lot of warning signs beforehand. And also, it's important to note that gun violence impacts America's most vulnerable people the most. For instance, folks that live in some sort of poverty. Children living in poverty, both urban and rural, in the city and the country, are more likely to die due to gun violence than their more affluent peers, than those that are not living in poverty. About 1 out of 5 gay and lesbian youth have been threatened or injured with a weapon on school property. So this group is also more likely to be targeted. Black youth are 4 times more likely to be killed with guns in some situation than their white peers. In fact, children of color in general are far more likely to experience campus gun violence. It's more than twice as much for Hispanic students and over 3 times as much for Black students. And this is not a note on individual people or individual races. It's just a statistic that rings true across the country. Number 16 is very important because a lot of the times after a major school shooting or a mass shooting, people will try to say that it was because of mental illness that that shooter engaged in that violence. And so a lot of the times it puts a stigma on other folks that have a diagnosed mental illness. But the reality is that the majority of individuals with diagnosed mental illnesses do not engage in violence against others. There are other factors such as access to guns and whether or not someone paid attention to warning signs ahead of time that are much more likely to prevent school shootings than just focusing on folks with mental illness, because largely people with mental illness do not engage in violence against others. And then finally, it must be remembered that 90% of teenagers killed in an act of dating violence were girls. So this is a very one-sided problem when it comes to the specific category of dating violence. So with all those facts in mind, knowing that the problem is as prevalent as it is, then tomorrow we are going to, with solidarity, wear orange. And that's going to be, which is really convenient because we already have a lot of orange stuff because we have that Longhorn pride. So please wear orange tomorrow. And if you don't want to hear it from me, hear it from Jayla, the president of our local Promise Club.
This is Dallas ISD. Okay.
Cool.
This is Dallas ISD's second annual Youth Violence Prevention Day. Tomorrow, as a campus, we want to participate and bring in awareness and honor those affected by gun violence. Tomorrow, we ask that you wear orange to show school spirit. Let's prevent violence together.
Very good.
This Wednesday is Dallas ISD's second annual Youth Violence Prevention Day. Tomorrow, as a campus, we want to participate and bring awareness and honor those affected by gun violence. This Wednesday, tomorrow, we are asking you to wear orange. Let's prevent violence together. Woo!
You heard the lady. Wear orange tomorrow in solidarity. The entire district is going to be doing it. Remember that we are in charge of us, that we are in charge of keeping each other and ourselves safe from any sort of violence, especially gun violence. Thank you for listening to those facts. I know they probably were not all easy to hear, but it is important information to know. You can go on to the next video about teacher appreciation and writing notes to your teachers. Be good to yourself and others, and I'll see you in the next video.